Yesterday's loss ended a 22-match unbeaten streak for Mikel Arteta against the Premier League's Big Six. And speaking of Arteta, let's hear from him and Arne Slot after the match.
I think we elevated the game and the dominance to a point that they have to raise it. They did, especially from the 60 to 78, when then you could see that there were no margins in the game. And then when that happens, the game is going to be decided in two ways. One, with an individual error, and two, with a magic moment. And Szoboszlai created a moment that it was incredible, that has won in the game, and that was the difference, nothing else.
If we play this game 10 times more in the same fashion, then I think it's 8 times a draw. We win it one time and Arsenal wins it one time, because it was an uneventful game, which is something sometimes positive as well, because both teams were really good in rest defense and in defending. But I think normally Arsenal and us are able to create more chances during a game. But it tells you also something about the structure and the amount of discipline both teams have without the ball. And then you need a moment of magic, which we got from Dominic. And that resulted us winning the game that was, like I just said, normally would have been ended in a draw.
I think even saying a moment of magic kind of undersells that. I don't know what you guys think, but 3 match days and 3 wins for the Reds, who have made it a bit nervy, to say the least, for their fans. All 3 victories have seen the match-winning goal come after the 80th minute. And get this, Liverpool had just 3 game winners after the 80th all last season. But hey, good teams, they find a way to get it done, and Liverpool have done just that. But that leads us into our Xfinity fast track to victory, and it was a different way of winning for Liverpool, Aaron, through that just absolutely stunning free kick goal by Dominic Szoboszlai. What is the way that Liverpool have found ways to win say about them this season and where they're at? Are you concerned at all?
I mean, obviously I'm concerned. They're the reigning champions and they're figuring out ways to continue to win. Even when they're not playing great, their first couple matches, they didn't play well, pulled out a win. Weren't the greatest yesterday, but their rest defense was so good. I think that's the thing we talk about this Liverpool team the most, is when they're in possession, they're very easily countered because they push their fullbacks so high. Arne Slot even mentioned it. They played so well with their rest defense. They were so locked in, so focused in every area of the pitch. That's why it was so tight for so long, because usually Liverpool were pretty open, but this was not the same Liverpool we see in every single match. They were very, very focused, very determined. They weren't getting pulled out of foolish areas. And then you have the match-winning DNA that they have. Szoboszlai with that incredible free kick. They've won Champions League. They've won Premier League. They have winners throughout this team, so they know how to get it done. That's really, really what the difference was, I think. It's the tiniest margins. And you can say the game plan was right from Arsenal. I think overall it probably was. Try to lock it down for 70 minutes and then bring on your match winners. But it's those tiny, tiny, tiny margins that made the difference. Yes, you can nitpick some of the things Arteta did, and almost certainly we will do some of those things. But when it comes down to it, it's those tiny margins, and Liverpool had it on the day. Yeah, we will get into all of that because there were some differing opinions on Mikel Arteta's approach to the match yesterday. But when we do talk about Liverpool, because we should focus on them, before we get into the Arsenal chatter here. Yes, we absolutely should. But Florian Wirtz, he's one of the just biggest signings of the offseason, not just in the Premier League, but all across Europe's top leagues. And he hasn't necessarily clicked quite yet with this Liverpool side. How long do you think that's going to take for the Reds? Underwhelming at best right now for Florian Wirtz. Yes, when you come with a big price tag, the expectations are exceedingly high. He hasn't hit it yet. I think the appetite for that patience will dissipate quickly, very quickly.
I'm just kind of giving him a lot more time. I think sometimes, and you know what, I'm gonna put my personal experience in this. When you move country, it's not just, oh, I'm getting used to my new teammates, new surroundings, new training ground, new manager, new tactics. It's also your home life. I need to find a new way I'm living. I need to find a new routine. I need to find where my family is settled. So, yeah, but JD, that's also what you're being paid for. It's true. But at the end of the day, he didn't determine the price tag that's on his head. That money better be making up for a bit of discomfort where you can lock in. He didn't determine the price tag that's on his head. You're looking at a structured Florian Wirtz in terms of on the left-hand side from 24-25 to what is an unstructured. And I'm talking about just from a personal settling in process. I don't think we can really cast any judgment on him until the first, I wouldn't say until pre-Christmas, post-Christmas. Give him an opportunity to settle in. That's a long runway, JD. What do you want him to do? Because naturally, because he's going to come progress, show progress. The target is going to be on his back because he is the British transfer record. We understand that. The target is also going to be in your back because you also play in a predominantly attractive position in terms of as an attacking player. But what do you want him to do in this system? His team is winning. He's settling in. He's showing consistency. Sometimes we don't give enough credit to attacking midfielders, what they do in terms of both on the ball and off the ball. His work rate, his tenacity, his understanding of the system, I think is all settling quite well. Yes, the goals, yes, the assists, but that's the easy part. That will come. I think the flowetry in terms of who he is as a player, that will come. He's proven at every level and every single time he's had a challenge in front of him, he's reached to it. So I want to give him an opportunity to just settle, because this is the biggest opportunity in front of him right now. And right now, we just need to give him a chance. So everybody just take a deep breath. It's the same with another player I know we've got on this rundown, which is Viktor Gyökeres. So you're winking already, because you know. And for me, sometimes as football fans, we can be so fickle and just say to ourselves, he needs to hit the ground running right now. How many players, minus Erling Haaland, have hit the ground running from day one in the Premier League? We can count them probably on one hand. Yeah. This is the most intense and hardest league to adapt to. And I think we just sometimes need to give players just a little bit of grace and understanding in terms of their role. Cupo's not buying it, though.
No, I'm a little bit more impatient. I have really high expectations, especially when you know that you're supposed to be that target player. If you're not able to acclimate or show me that you are progressing, even little bits.
It's game 3.
I know.
So what do you want? Okay, what would be good progression for you? What would you like to see?
I don't think he was as bad as people think.
No.
First half, he was poor, Wirtz. In the second half, I thought Wirtz grew into the game. I thought he made a couple important passes. He started to keep things ticking over. And he will grow into this team. He has too much quality not to. I also feel like we're in this modern game. You slap a price tag on someone, you expect them to perform at a world-class level after 2-3 games. And that is so unrealistic to me. It took Thierry Henry 8 games to score his first goal for Arsenal.
Thank you very much.
It takes players a while to everything considered, moving to a new country, new language, new team, new league, every single thing that goes into it, nothing is in a vacuum. And again, saying all that to say, he wasn't that bad. No. If you just look at it without a price tag and look at the entire, 89 minutes he played, first 45, pretty poor. First 10, 15 of the second half, pretty poor. But when he grew into the game is when Liverpool grew into the game. When Curtis Jones came into the game and started making incisive runs and causing chaos, Wirtz grew into the game. So it's not just him in a vacuum. It's this Liverpool team as a whole learning to play with him, this Liverpool team figuring out what their best kind of mechanics are in possession, out of possession. He's going to grow into this team, I think. And I don't think the criticism is quite warranted yet. I think he's shown that he will be a good player, and I don't think he's been nearly as bad as some people say.
That's by 5 or 6 matches, I want to see a more comprehensive full shift.
I can get with that.
Is my indicator of this is moving in the right direction.
What would be a comprehensive full shift for you?
Meaning he's igniting, we're seeing later in matches, I'd say 90 minutes. If you can show that you're locked in, start to finish, whether or not everything's going right or wrong around you, where you don't notice a huge difference in his performance, I'm absolutely content with that.
I just think there's this trending thing right now, and I'm seeing it on social media. And I know I'm not allowed to bark back. My agent tells me all the time, don't bark back, because sometimes I want to get in these comments and just teach these kids a thing or two. But like they do this thing where they call 002 or 00.
004. They're on 004 with Sheshko's, 007 with Gyökeres.
If this was any other walk of life, and I said to you, oh, you know, I'm going to plunk you from here, move you country, and you're going to take this new job, and you're going to turn around and have to adapt and hit the ground running from day one. And I want to see the same metrics you had in the last job. Nobody will be able to do that. It's impossible. You have to give people time to adapt. You have to give people time to understand what their surroundings are about. And I feel like we're just in this generation where if they don't instantly perform in front of me, that means they're an instant flop. Yep. It's not true at all. We could go through the list of the greatest players to ever come here. I'm talking about Hall of Famers, and they have taken 6 to 12 months to understand how difficult this league is. It's the hardest league in the world to adapt to because of the intensity. You're going to get the same level of intensity from Bournemouth, from West Ham, from Chelsea, and it plays a lot on your body and your mind. And he knows as well as we do. Like the transfer fee that's on his back, he's carrying it. But what do you expect him to do in 3 games?
Yeah. Well, I think we are all in agreement that he will grow into this team. Cupo's maybe not feeling it.
No, I think he will. I just think that
she's like, do it faster.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving giving you to Christmas, buddy. Sorry.
All right, well, the Reds do look to be adding another big player for another record number, and that's Alexander Isak. We'll see how he fits into this Liverpool team. Champagne problems right now for Arne Slot. But let's talk a little bit about Arsenal before we go to break. We'll get into some of the criticisms on Arteta's style of play, but speaking of players who maybe need to grow in a little bit faster to the teams that they're on, Viktor Gyökeres did not have a lot of involvement. Some of that was the stylistic approach from Mikel Arteta. But Jaydee, what did you make of Gyökeres in that match?
I think Viktor Gyökeres, and we all knew this is a profile of a player coming in. He needs to be fed, right? He's not your typical false nine or like a João Pedro who can drop into his own areas and create his own chances. He needs to be fed. You can see the arc in terms of the runs that he's making. He wants to live on the shoulder. And yesterday, you took all of the creativity out of the middle of the park. Declan Rice, yes, he's an okay player, but in terms of you're talking about players that can find a pass like that instantly. Martin Odegaard, Eberechi Eze. That's why you signed these players. And he had no service. You had Madueke going down the right and Martinelli going down the left. Who? Noni Madueke.
No. The second name you said.
See, and they're direct head down wingers. That's what they are. But at the end of the day, there was no service in the middle with the intricacy in terms of the runs that he was making. So what do you expect from a number 9 who had no food? If you take me to my grandma's house and there's no food on the counter, I'm expecting not to eat today. And he knew from the second he steps on that pitch there was going to be nothing served for him.
Neither striker got any service. Ekitike was also equally awful. They barely touched the ball. They have two of the strongest center backs on each side kicking the hell out of him for however many minutes. This does not worry me. If he gets service, if Gyökeres got service and missed chances, if he wasn't making the right runs, then I would have an issue. But the number of runs that he made that were not fed, Gabriel Martinelli, come on, bro. I love you. What am I doing?
That was a hate watch.
You can't go to my grandma's house and not get food.
Hey, you know what? I think the Gunners need Jaydee's grandma cooking up something in the kitchen.
House and not get
this
food.
team going. All right.